there were 50 of us, 50 people who are community leaders, elected representatives. We had folks at every level that got to go to Vienna. Why Vienna? Because Vienna for 10 years in a row has been named the most livable city in the entire world. And 100 years ago, Vienna had the worst housing system in all of Europe. But there are some parallels to what we see here in California. There were people that were unhoused, living in unsafe, uninhabitable conditions. It was so bad, there were so many folks who were unhoused that women who were war widows that were struggling themselves, they were renting out beds by the hour so that people could have a place to rest their head for an hour in between work. So they were living in very horrendous conditions. They didn't have policies, they didn't have programs to stabilize and help keep people housed. So folks formed settlements on the perimeter of the city. They built their own housing, and those war widows that I was talking about, they were organizing and they were mobilizing and they were putting pressure on city council, on the mayor, on the folks that could make decisions. So there was, I think they described it like a stool with 3 legs. It was the people who were in the settlements, who were forming the settlements and building housing, literally finding their own building materials and building housing. You had the government sector, our elected representatives. You had the business community who knew that they needed to invest in housing if they were going to invest in the overall economy. They came together and they built the most beautiful housing system that there is across this world. And they're not the only ones doing it. We've got social housing here in the United States, and we've been doing it for a long time, and we can talk more about that. But now they have a wonderful, incredible, really robust housing system. It's taken them 100 years. 100 years, but they did it. And when I got to go to Vienna, and I put all my stuff inside the hotel, and I walked outside, the very first thing that I observed and that I felt was, I didn't see not one. In a city of almost 2 million people, I did not see one unhoused person. Not one.
If they can do it,
there's no reason why we can't. Politically, they were divided. The politicians and the business community, they didn't want it, They were just entrenched in their own way as we are here. But it's us, The people that are in this room who are relentless, who are passionate, who are brilliant, and we're going to roll up our sleeves and get it done. And there are communities across California, one apartment complex that has maybe 20 units, 25 units, 10 units over here, and they are reclaiming those properties, putting them into community land trust, taking them permanently off of the private market, and they are creating beautiful housing. And we've got all kinds of examples of that. That's the work that we've been doing, studying the solutions. Going out there and scouring everywhere and figuring out who is already doing it and how do we bring that to our own neighborhoods, our own communities. We need social housing. We need housing on our faith lands. SB 4 was also passed. The governor signed that, and that means that our faith institutions that are rich in land and care about housing and social housing in particular, we can partner and build housing on that land.